Hello, listeners, and welcome to another episode of Subscription Scaled. I'm your host, Nick Fredrick. With me today is the duo of Kim Lewis and Tim Lewis, who are the co-founders of CurlMix. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, Nick. Glad to be here.
Yes, we are.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I can't wait to dive in with you guys, learn more about CurlMix. You guys have a very interesting story and some very recent news as well, so we will get into all of that. But let's start at the beginning here. Tell us about when and where and how you guys started up CurlMix.
Ooh, how far do you want to go back? Because CurlMix is actually our second business, and we've pivoted already, right? So we've had a very long and winding road to get to this point. So how far you want to go back? How deep you want us to go?
Let's go back as you think are relevant. I'm willing to go back to the beginning because I love hearing the story.
Oh, yeah, let's do it. Okay. I like to tell from this beginning because it's one of the most interesting things and kind of defines how me and Kim became entrepreneurs. So initially, we didn't really have any plans to start our own business or become entrepreneurs. Right out of school in 2013, Kim had a great corporate job lined up, and I was a research assistant at UChicago, and she just really didn't like it. Like, maybe you could talk a little bit more about your experiences.
I didn't fit in. Well, before we jump into that, honey, we didn't talk about what we do for our business.
Sure.
So we're Kim and Tim, CEO and co-founder of CurlMix. CurlMix is a clean beauty brand where we make simple beauty rituals, and we focus on systems like our 4-step wash and go that helps you get the best wash and go ever. And if you don't know what a wash and go is, it's for a woman who has curly hair, preserving her hair, like how it looks when it's wet.
Or man. I have my wash and go routine.
And you're preserving it. You're preserving that wet, curly look, essentially. So that's.
I don't have that issue. I don't know if you noticed, but
it's all right, Nick. We got something for you too.
But CurlMix is just our first beauty brand. Ultimately, our vision is to be more like a Procter & Gamble, to own multiple brands under one umbrella. And we've done that with CurlMix. We've launched a second brand, and I think we'll launch more in the future. But we didn't start with this idea in mind. This idea kind of developed over time. And the story that Tim is telling you is that when I first got out of college, essentially I quit my job because I was at a very conservative place where I kind of got nitpicked at for everything that I did. I was the only Black woman out of 100 people, the only one of 2 Black people out of 100 managers in the district. And it was suffocating. So I ended up quitting, and I went to go work at a portrait studio making $10 an hour, and Tim went to go work at Starbucks. And so we were not making much money at all. He was making $9 an hour, I was making 10, barely getting by, and I signed him up for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, yeah, because we had an idea for our first business, which was a social network for women with natural hair. And we tried everything we could to get funding for that business. We talked to VCs and angels. We entered pitch competitions. When that failed, we couldn't win any of those. And so I just came home from work one day, and Kim was like, I booked you a plane ticket, I booked your hotel, and I got you a trial for Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. I know you think it's stupid, but you're going. And
you had no idea she had done any of this?
And I just say yes, dear.
Well, because
when I went to New York.
We used to watch the show. So fresh out of college, we're both 21. And I would watch the show with Tim. I think one time we binge watched maybe 4 episodes. And he got every answer right. Every one of them. And I was like, oh, that's a real talent. I was like, I've never seen anybody get this. I was like, you need to be on this show. I was like, you could really win some money. So I signed him up without him really knowing. And at the time, we didn't have much money, right? Because I was working at my job, but I hadn't left yet. And he was working at Starbucks. You weren't working at Starbucks yet.
Working at UChicago.
Yes, we weren't making much money. And he felt like if we had $400, $500, we needed it. So we couldn't spend it on anything else. And I was like, no, this is a good bet. You're going to go to win us some money on the show. And he ended up going and winning. He won $100,000.
What? Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I was like, okay, so he knew.
And Kim quit the Monday after we recorded, right? Before we got the money, mind you. So we were very broke for a little while. And then we got the money like 2 months later, and we used that to start our first business. We ran that first business for about a year and a half. We learned a lot of lessons, lost a lot of money, but we kind of say we invested it in ourselves, right? Because it gave us our first foray into entrepreneurship. So we learned how to, create partnerships. We learned about the hair industry. So we were able to get up close and personal with experts.
And it was a social network for natural
yeah.
hair. So think Facebook, but for hair. Really like a Facebook group, honestly. But,
It could have been a Facebook.
Facebook groups didn't exist back then. So it was ahead of its time. No, I'm kidding. Niche social networks don't work. And so then after we did that, I closed the business after about a year and a half. I made my first $200 in like a media partnership where someone ran ads on our site.
That's $200 we made in a year and a half. Like that was it. That was revenue.
Yes, but tech companies, they function different, right? You don't have to have revenue. It's more about like growth and users, whatever.
Making connections, growing yourself. Learning,
We like to joke and say that we paid for an MBA because we invested some money from Who Wants to Be a Millionaire into that idea, probably like 10 to 15K. So, we learned some lessons. But we said the next business we did is going to make money on day one. And I want to say this is 2015, and we were watching an episode of Shark Tank, and a lady had like these organic cookies that she was making. Everything was prepackaged individually. And so you didn't have to go to the store, buy all these groceries. You didn't have to figure out if it was organic or not, make something. You knew it was going to taste good, right? So it solved all your issues. And Tim was like, Kim, it's like, no. I was like, I wonder if anyone's doing this for hair, because I DIY all of my own hair care products all the time after watching YouTube videos.
Not just that, but she would like go to Whole Foods, spend like $300, and then come home, ruin the kitchen, leave me with the dishes, and then might not even like what she made. So it was a little nuts. And so there had to be an easier way.
So we're like, if someone put this in a box, and this is 2015, there was about 1,000 subscription boxes on the market back then. They were pretty popular. Yeah. And I'm like, man, if this doesn't exist, like, no one wants it because it would have been created already.
And I was like, no, you can do this, Kim. You could call it like CurlMix.
Yes.
And that stuck.
Yeah. And so we launched it and sold one box to my cousin. And I was like, see, I told you this was a dumb idea. We shouldn't have done it. And someone's like, no, Kim, if Airbnb can relaunch 7 times, surely you can relaunch twice. And
yeah, we just didn't launch the right way. Right. So we have to go back to the drawing board and learn how to market and sell products, how to market and sell a subscription service. And we came up with a great idea for how to pitch journalists as well as, borrow other people's audiences to help launch that business. So we got marketing partners and influencers to help us with the launch. We got press to help us with the launch. And on that first day, we relaunched it in September 2015. We ended up selling 100 subscriptions on that first day. And so we were off to the races.
Okay.
And then we did that for 2.5 years. And the first year, I want to say we did maybe 140,000. The second year,
it's 130 and then 140.
Yeah, but I think we did the math, and it was like closer to 200. But anyway, it wasn't growing fast enough. And essentially, subscription boxes should snowball much faster than that. And we weren't really spending any money on ads on Facebook like that. But I think at best we were doing maybe like, I don't know, $17,000 a month. And then our best subscribers started to unsubscribe after 2 years. And I started calling people up and saying, hey, like, why are you guys unsubscribing? And I found out that my boxes were piling up at their house. Like, it was fun for them to do, but they were still going to buy full-size products at the grocery store. And so it was novelty and not necessity. And I like to call it a vitamin, not a painkiller. So it was fun to do, nice to have, but the thing that's actually solving your problem, you're buying for $10 at the store. And then I found out that the margins on my box were only 30%, but the industry average for hair care was like 70 to 90%. And I was like, even if I could scale this, I shouldn't, because we aren't going to be able to make money with 30% margins. And after about 2 years, all the DIY subscription box type companies started closing up shop. So Darby Smart and Brit & Co. or they're pivoting. And I was just like, okay, so this is not working for me. And I had gotten pregnant. And so I was like, I might have to go back to work. But at that time, we had one box that was selling like hotcakes over and over and over again. And it was our DIY flaxseed gel. It's a hair gel that helps give you that wash and go look. And I met my advisor and I was telling him that, like, hey, like, manufacturers won't make this for us, And he was like, figure it out. And I was like, what? And like, I'm like 7 months pregnant at this point.
Yeah, we're not cosmetic chemists, but
No.
big props to Kim. She did figure it out. She spent a month in her kitchen, 7 months pregnant, made like 50, 60 different batches in order to get a product that worked. And then we were like, let's take all of the lessons we learned from launching the first subscription box to see if we can pivot this. So we decided to pre-sell, these full-size products just to see if people will want them. Would they trust us to make products for them instead of our DIY subscription box? And we opened up like 60 spots and we sold that out in minutes. We were like, okay, let's open up some more spots. We sold that one out. Let's open up some more spots. We sold that one out. And at the time, we hadn't made anything. And we were just like, okay, we actually have to make all this stuff. Let's not open up anymore. And then we were like, we have something here. Like this is where CurlMix needs to go. So our son was born December 2nd, 2017. And on January 1st, 2018, we decided to pivot the business to selling ready-made hair products and started with our flaxseed gel.
And at that point, we tossed out 6 months of subscription box content. So photo shoots, recipes, videos, all of it. And we completely pivoted to the flaxseed gel. And the first month we did $3,000 in sales.
Sales plummeted from like 17 to 3,000. Kim cried. But I was like, you know what? If we could just double next month, we'll be okay.
And then we did 8,000. And then the third month, I'm like, man, if we could just do 16, 17, we're back to our highest month ever. And we did 30,000. And we hadn't spent any money on ads. And so we're like, oh, this is what people want. This is it.
So from 3,000 to 30,000.
This was all word of mouth to get to 30,000.
And micro-influencer partnerships. So people who had less than 20,000 Instagram followers and giving them and revenue sharing with them.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we didn't have marketing money, right? So that revenue sharing allowed us, one, to borrow other people's audiences and make the deal beneficial to them. So it's basically like an affiliate model that you might see. And in the beginning, we just didn't have money to spend on ads. So that was a great way not to have to spend any money up front and still get great traction.
And then we met Arlen from Backstage Capital. Oh, we not met her. She invested $25,000. And so we used that money to do new packaging and a machine to help us scale from 60 flaxseed gel in a batch to 600. And then you got our own manufacturing space too.
Yeah,
we moved to our
we were
facility.
doing all this in the kitchen at first. We were 3 months in the kitchen, in our house, in the basement, packing and shipping.
No, but what was the other place we were in? The storage unit.
Oh, yeah.
When we were doing the DIY boxes, we had a storage unit that we would go and pack everything at once a month. So it was difficult. But we ended up making $1 million that year. Moved into our first facility, made $1 million, and it was basically 10x from the year prior. And then we had spent some money on ads at this point too. And then we appeared on Shark Tank the following year, got a $1.2 million investment from the former CEO of LinkedIn, Jeff Weiner, and his other partners.
The Shark Tank deal?
Yes. We turned down $400,000 from Robert Herjavec as an offer for 20% of our company. Yeah. So the deal was just, we were worth like $7 million at the time, but Robert gave us like a $2 million offer. And then we got to about $5 million in revenue that year. So it was pretty fast. It took us a while to get there, right? So we were entrepreneurs from 2013 up into 2018, but we didn't make our first $1 million until 2018. So, but after that was the snowball. It kind of started to build up and go up faster.
Yeah, and there were a lot of...
Yeah, by a lot of standards, that's still pretty fast.
Yeah, there are a lot of lessons we learned along the way to how to scale it. And a lot of it, we just pulled directly from our experience with the subscription box. So one of the key things I always say to our success was we built community early and often. So we started off with our email list. That is like the bread and butter of any internet marketing or online business, is building up that email list. Mm-hmm. And as much as we could, we tried to get those people on their email list to form a real community. And so we started a Facebook group instead of a social network. We just went ahead and started a Facebook group and grew that. And use that to do all of our marketing research, to launch products, and to engage with our customers. Like to this day, we know customers by name, like we're on first name basis with them because we talk to them all the time. And then Kim did something really crazy. She created a live Facebook show every week she would get in the shower and use our products to do her hair live, and we would answer questions. We would do trivia. I would be filming, making jokes, and just being like a silly host.
My hype man.
Yeah, and so we did
This started as a bad idea.
we thought it was a little crazy. No one was going, and I don't know any other business where the CEO gets into the shower with you to demonstrate their products. But at the time, it was just, we got to do something. We don't want to keep just feeding Facebook ads to scale. You got to create content, and you got to build community. And so the live show allowed people to talk to us, ask questions. We were getting people to share their lives. They could win free products. And one of the cool things about our product is that it does have a little bit of a learning curve. But once you get that curve, once you learn the techniques of how to use a wash and go and how to use our products, like, you're golden. But it does take a few times to get there. And so that allowed us to educate, entertain, build community all at once.
So I'd love to dive a little bit more into that, about building up that community, because I've had several guests on the show. And the theme that I think is separating, some success stories away from others is truly building that community of users, right? You're kind of curating content for a very niche group that wants to know more about this, or at least talk about it, right? And that's the thing that separates a business like yours from just Amazon Subscribe and Save. Anybody can go on there, pick any product and say, click, send me this once a month or once a quarter, whatever, right? That's real easy to do right now. But what they can't do, or don't want to do, is create that community around that product and educate people, or let them talk to each other and kind of foster that. So what are those types of customers of yours talking about? And is it you feeding them content, or are they kind of
in the
feeding each other as
beginning,
well?
me doing my live show was me feeding them content. It was it created the event for everyone to look forward to, and then talk about in the group. But then eventually, in some points, it was used almost like a little bit of customer service, not for damaged orders or missing orders, not for that kind of stuff, but to teach and educate. So people would ask questions and then we would respond. And the more we helped, the more our customers began to help, to the point where we didn't have to do it anymore. So we didn't have to say, hey, tell us about your Monday. You know what I mean? Like, we still have a daily posting group, but that literally gets the least action. Like, we do try to facilitate some conversation. The posts that get 500 likes, 1,000 likes, is somebody posting like their hair journey with CurlMix over the last 6 months, or someone posting their vacation pics and how they did their wash and go while they were on vacation, or someone showing how she did her mom's hair on a wash and go and her daughter's, and how all three of the generations are naturally curly. Yeah. And the reason this is important is because women of color were encouraged to straighten their hair, because that's the standard of beauty. It's like a Eurocentric type of version of beauty that basically said, don't wear your hair natural. We even had to make a law called the Crown Act that says you can't discriminate against
curly hair, natural hair. Yeah.
Yes, let me close. I'm sorry. I think I have Facebook open. There even had to be a law created that says you can't be discriminated against because of your natural hair, because people are, right? Like, there was a wrestling match where they had the guy cut off his locks in order to participate in the wrestling match. There was women who've gotten fired from jobs because they have locks, or because their afro was too big, they get sent home from school. Like, this is just the way our hair grows, but we still get reprimanded for it, right? Yeah. And so we celebrate hair in those groups.
Right.
Yeah, and one of the key things about our product itself is that, us coming from a subscription box background, we knew that we need to get recurring revenue, right? You want to get people coming back either, if not every month, or every 2 months at least. And so the lesson there was Kim created a system to, one, get you from nothing to a fully styled look in 4 steps. So we call it the 4-step wash and go. And we encourage people to stick to a routine, right? So CurlMix is all about simple beauty rituals. And so as in that group, we encourage people to stay on a routine, to develop a ritual that they do every single week, so that they use the products and then come back on a subscription basis, right? Subscriptions are kind of like the bedrock of our current business. And that group allows us to continue to foster people's adherence to the program. When you get 1,000 likes on a picture because your hair is bomb and your curls are popping, like that encourages people to want to keep using the products. And that feeds into this feedback loop of, you sell a product, you teach people how to use it, the group encourages them to keep going, and then they keep going on the subscription basis. And so that's kind of how we created this loop and scaled those subscriptions up to the point where they are today.
So I'm curious what made you want to do subscription from the start, because there's plenty that that just go, oh, I've created a product, I'm going to go sell it online, and the natural way to do that is transactional. But what made you guys think, hey, subscription is the way we got to go here?
Oh my gosh, you're working too hard. So first of all, if you are just paying for every customer via Facebook ads, right, the CPA is only going to go up. The cost per acquisition is only going up. And now it's bonkers with the iOS update, right? Yeah. So I am so grateful that 2 years ago, we sat down and said we need to double down on subscriptions. We need to give the best offer, the best service to our subscribers so that they come back every month so we don't have to keep chasing them for every sale. And so to this day, now we probably do 1 million at least in subscriptions. We did 1 million last year. We probably do 2 million this year in subscriptions. It's a big part of our business, to the point where we offer subscription for our regular products that we offer. But then we also launched a subscription box where we got to do R&D and testing within our organization, so that there's we want to do body, we want to do face, we want to do, skin glowing products, or,
so each month is a new theme on a subscription box. And that's pulled directly from our experience. It's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? We have subscriptions work. We've had the experience of launching, a new product every month. And not only does that get people coming back, it also keeps them excited about the brand. What is CurlMix going to create this month? And I have to subscribe in order to guarantee my spot. Like, these things sell out and we don't sell them again sometimes.
Right.
So
and subscribers get free gifts. We give our subscribers so much.
We create a really, really irresistible offer on that subscription. And because it's monthly recurring, we can rely on it. So that allows us to kind of smooth out those peaks and valleys in our growth, and allows us to have reliable results when it comes to decisions about future investments, hiring. All those different things are going to be based on, can you predict how much you're going to make in the future? And because we have that monthly recurring revenue, we can more easily make those kinds of decisions.
And your lifetime value. I mean, the lifetime value of a subscriber is very different than a first-time customer, The lifetime value, I think, of our subscription box is maybe 5 or 10 times our regular lifetime value of just regular products. So it's just really interesting. That subscription is a deep part of our business. And if I didn't have that, we'd probably have half as much revenue.
Is there anything in particular about subscription, since you guys launched it a number of years ago, that, you saw the value in it from the beginning, but were there some things along the way that were kind of, I don't want to say gotchas, but just kind of learnings of, oh, we kind of didn't expect this, or this surprised us in some way?
Oh, yeah, there's some things I definitely don't like. So, for example, some people subscribe just to get the discount and the offers, and then they, cancel right away. Right. And there's not much you can do to circumvent that.
There are going to be a few folks to try to take advantage. But we try to fix that, in our policies. So we try to require, subscribe for X amount, or you might want to pay up front.
Nope, we don't do that. They can cancel anytime. So
people still get around it. It's like, we try to encourage it, but you can't just, if you want to quit, you can quit.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. What else? Things I wish I'd have learned about subscriptions. The cost of shipping only increases. And so that is something where I feel like the subscriptions, you do kind of take a ding for it, because, a lot of times you have to offer free shipping to get someone to subscribe. Yeah. And free shipping is almost an expectation, but free shipping is expensive. Especially for e-commerce.
With Amazon here. Right?
Yeah, and not only you're not going to be as fast as Amazon, but I think, our average cost for shipping a box used to be $5 back in the day. Now it's like $7 or $8 or something, And it goes up every single year.
Even with the bulk discounts, you got to kind of keep up.
Yeah. Well, costs go up, right, exponentially. Inflation's headed towards being crazy. But so how do you guys build that into, do you do price point increases over time with your customers? Or do you say, once you're locked in at this price, we try to keep you there and maybe offer something different to newer customers?
I would say that we do our best to, instead of raising prices, I don't think we've ever raised our prices. What we do is try to create new offerings. So one of the skills we have is, we own our manufacturing. And then so we're able to kind of control our supply chain, but we launch and create new products to get subscribers interested in either expanding their subscription or trying new products. So we can increase the average order value almost at a whim if we needed to. And so that increases lifetime value over time. If they're buying more from you on subscription versus us increasing the prices, so we'd rather create something new and add more value than try to eke more value out of something that they're already buying.
Have there been any, subscription? I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years, and sometimes I think I take things for granted in the recurring billing space. But we get called a lot when merchants run into chargeback issues, right? Number one, there's the Visa MasterCard levels that you have to stay below, or you get in Visa jail, as I like to call it, and then you got to get yourself out of it, just like the Monopoly game. But not only dealing with the networks and all of those rules and regulations, but the chargebacks are hella expensive, and so are returns, and so are inquiries, and all of these things. So, as you guys have scaled up, and clearly you're doing that at a tremendous pace. I mean, is it caused any of those things to rise up and become problems that I don't want to call them problems, but there's things you had to deal with in a different way?
There's an amount I expect to see in returns regardless of anything. And I think that's a factor of having good customer service, because if you don't return someone who doesn't want your product, it's like they're really unhappy, and think about how many people you're making that unhappy.
And oftentimes you can win back those customers later. So even if they return, maybe it wasn't the right product. Maybe you need to take our quiz. Maybe you need a personal recommendation. So we've created a really cool environment on our customer service team where they're able to not just, here's your money back, have a great day. It's, let's walk through why you didn't have the best experience with our product to see if we can't get you a better experience with something else, even before you ask for a return. We'll give you the return, but have you tried this? Have you thought about this? If you do it this way. And we did a great job of kind of training out our customer service people to kind of be like a recommendation engine as well. And so we try to recover as many of those returns and chargebacks as possible. Something about chargebacks is like there's going to be a small amount that, like, no matter what, you can't control that. The person stopped paying their bill, whatever, car got lost, I don't know. So we just expect it. It's part of life as a subscription service, and we just accept it. We rarely ever I don't think we've ever hit a point where we're like, this is a serious problem, and we need to try to find a way around it. But that could be in the future. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, well, someone with great customer service like yourselves, and are always trying to take care of their customers. As long as you do those things, you're generally going to stay out of it. It's there for a reason, because it usually indicates a merchant who is either charging for things or not shipping them, or not delivering on the promises. That's usually what those things indicate, and that's why they put them there. So take care of your customer, and that usually takes care of itself. It's the good news, I think, there.
Good to know.
Yeah. So talk about some of the ways that you guys are acquiring new customers today, and some of the offers. And you talked about this a little bit, Kim, but I'm curious, when someone is considering your product, they found you one way or another, and now they're like, this sounds cool, but I don't know if this is for me, and I'm not sure I want to get into a subscription here right away. So how do you get over those objections from consumers and convert them into valuable subscribers?
It's not my expectation that someone will subscribe from the first time that they come to our website. One of the things we try to do is get them into a lower ticket offer item, something that's lower risk.
Yeah.
Maybe a sample, maybe it's a conditioner where it doesn't promise transformative results. It's just, it works or it doesn't. You know what I mean? It just needs enough slip. So lower ticket offer items is something that we like to focus on.
Is to get people into a specific product type that's recommended.
And then what else would I say? We try to do a lot of education on social. So if you don't know if you want to use our products, you should be able to scroll through a healthy amount of daily content that we post on Facebook and Instagram, and weekly content on YouTube. We do a lot of YouTube videos. We have about 30,000 subscribers there. So we post weekly on how to get the best wash and go ever.
We do 2 blogs per week. And so content marketing has been the best way for us to kind of head off people's objections. If you want to learn if CurlMix might work for you, you can just search it and you'll find people who look like you who've tried the product, personalized recommendations, videos from influencers or customers. We do a great job of gathering customer testimonials and ads with, not ads, but reviews with pictures. That's been one of the best things for us is if you have a product that is transformational, you have to show that transformation. So we do have a strategy to try to get people to show us their transformation, and we use those pictures in our marketing.
Gotcha. Okay. So, all right, that you're getting them in there, getting them to try a product that might just like be, let me dip my toes in here and see how much I like it. What are you doing, and what sort of data elements are you guys using to take the customer then through that journey of, okay, I've tried a product. Hey, now do you want to try the subscription? Did this work for you? Do you want to try something else? I mean, what tactics are you guys putting in place to, increase the lifetime value of an average subscriber?
So after someone buys our regular product, we lead them to a subscription offer. And then after, they might subscribe. They may or may not, but they might also try CurlMix Fresh. That was that R&D box I told you about, was research and development, where we're testing out different things. And maybe you didn't like the hair care products, but you love our face and body or other things that we launched in the box. So it's kind of like a funnel. It's buy, then subscribe. If not subscribe, try this CurlMix Fresh box. You can get it one time or you can subscribe. And hopefully you'll find something for you in there.
Yeah. Not everybody is up for commitment really early on. So massage, you got to take them out, wine and then hit them with the ring.
We also do certain offers like subscribers ship first, like if for the subscription box, you don't have to subscribe to buy it. And so the people who do subscribe, they get a free gift. They also ship first. We treat them like VIP customers.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Well, so now that you guys are a few years into this, I assume you have quite a quantity of data that you've amassed at this point from, not just selling, but all of this content you're creating that people are interacting with too on the website or all of these different channels. What have you guys learned, and how are you bringing that all together to give you insights into, what's next for our customers? What are they asking for? What do they want? Where can we, better target them?
Yeah, I would say a lot of the data that goes in a lot of the insights that we pull from that data go into informing where we go in the content direction. So if we find that our customers have a particular problem based on either a customer survey or research in the group or poll or something like that, then we'll say, okay, how can we head off this issue with the products that they're having? Let's write a blog post. Let's make a video. Let's do a blitz on social, or let's go live in the group and talk about this so they can ask questions. And then once you have that content, you can then, I can send that content in an email. And at the end of the email, I can include an offer, something like that. The content is on our side is very much data driven. And then when it comes to us being, we want to be like a P&G where we have a slew of brands, right? Our data also lets us know where are the gaps in the market, what customers are being ignored, what segments of the market aren't being served. Do they need a new brand? Do they need a product that can solve their problems? And so those are the two key pieces where we really are able to utilize data-driven decision-making.
When it comes to that data, and maybe I'm turning this towards a bit of a technology and skill set question here, but is that something that you guys yourselves brought into the equation in terms of a background? Did you hire that, or did you have to go get it?
I think we could benefit from hiring a data scientist, but we don't have one. The things that we're currently doing are Google Analytics. Shopify has a set of data. Our recurring charges app has some data. It's a bit difficult to read, though.
I think Kim is selling herself short a little bit. She is an Excel whiz. Like, if there's ever a problem or a question, Kim immediately goes to her figurines, right? She has an Excel sheet for literally everything.
Like literally we need somebody whose job is to look at data. So, I will say that. I'm not that good.
Kim will get us started. Like, Kim can get you she'll like, okay, Tim, look at this spreadsheet. It was like, here's where we should go. I was like, okay, great. And then she'll ask me, since I was a researcher in behavioral economics and psychology, I can do any kind of survey or quantitative data you might need where you're getting customer feedback. I can design and build those things and then run the data from there. So we have a base level of skills in data analysis. But as we get bigger, we might need like a big data scientist to kind of give us the insights that we might miss. And that's kind of what Kim is referring to. But Kim is the figuring master.
Got a pretty good handle on it right now.
Oh yeah, she knows her numbers front to back. I don't know how she does it. I don't even know the numbers like she knows the numbers, but she's amazing at that.
Good. So when you guys launched this and went direct to consumer, you had to make a lot of decisions around. You can sum it up as build versus buy, but it's like you chose to go, the Shopify route and create that there. How have you guys made those kind of decisions and are continuing to make them as you're growing around, all right, this is something I can go or I should go pull off the shelf and use versus the kind of thing where we need to figure out our own solution or go find a partner? Like, how do you guys work through those kind of decisions?
I think you only have the opportunity to build things if you have the budget. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to build something, you've probably raised some kind of money or you have tons of profit. Otherwise, you're going to use off-the-shelf solutions until they don't work anymore. So, for example, we used to use like an upsell app on our website.
Okay.
And it was great because it helped increase revenue by 10%. We're like, oh, we love this. But we found out that our customers hated the experience because they felt like they got. Yeah. Like they were like, oh, how are you going to throw me this offer right when I'm checking out? Like, why didn't I see this before? I would have picked something different. Like I got so many complaints. And then also when we would try to update the software, that app would always break. And it was like, that app was great when we were doing $1 million in revenue. And it's not when we're doing 5 because it 5X whatever issues we were having before. So we need to build an upsell function into our site before people check out because we want them to have that offer and see that before they check out. And it's not purely about making money, it's about customer experience, which ultimately does make you money as long as the experience is good and predictable. Something else, like for example, building our website via Shopify. I actually used WordPress in the beginning, and that was my mistake. I felt like, oh, you can do everything on WordPress. But that's actually not what you want. You don't want something that can do everything. You want something that does one thing extremely well, and Shopify does that for e-commerce. Some other situations where we had to decide whether to build it or to use something off the shelf is like our, customer service platforms or our email software, things like that. And so, of course, those were all better to have off the shelf. However, as we get bigger, we'll probably outgrow some of these things, and I see that. And now I'm getting sales calls from the people that are bigger.
Level software. Right?
Yes, enterprise, $40,000 annually software. Yeah.
But that's just kind of the nature of it.
Sorry, that was NetSuite. Clearly, I have a pain in my butt. I
know them well.
You do it, you run it till you can't run it anymore. And then another area where we've actually decided to build rather than buy was in our manufacturing. Okay. Very early on, we wanted to own our manufacturing. One of the best kept secrets in the hair space and beauty space in general is that most companies who sell online direct to consumer are basically just marketing companies. There are a few labs and co-packers and things like that make products for just about everybody in the industry. And that constrains how fast you can move and grow. Right, we can go from concept to launch within a month or less, and they kind of have to be on like a 3 to 6 month launch cycle because someone else is making their products. They got to get their order in the queue, things like that. It also allows us to have something like CurlMix Fresh, where we are launching new products every single month that are completely different from our normal line, and they're small batch and they're handmade because we have our own facility, and so we can do essentially custom kinds of things that most other companies can't do. So if they say, hey, I like your gel, but I want to have it with a different oil or a different fragrance, we can do that quickly. And then owning our manufacturing, owning our shipping allows us to tailor that customer unboxing experience. If you send your stuff into Amazon, right, it's going to come in an Amazon box thrown in with whatever else you ordered. and maybe you can get a card in there or something. But it doesn't allow you to craft an experience. And so we get a lot of customer engagement when they see that teal box on their doorstep, they bring it into their house, they open it up, they see a beautiful card, there's directions, there's links to videos, and there's really great products sitting in there all pretty. And so we get a lot of great unboxing videos, and that's customer generated content that you just wouldn't get. I don't never see anyone opening up their Amazon box like, yo, I got this from X brand in my Amazon.
Not in that way. Definitely not. Yeah, so I think that makes a lot of sense, right? Focus on the things that differentiate you anyway, right? That make you you, and for you guys, that's the product, right? That's what you're creating, that's what you're delivering, and focusing on that. There's lots of options out there for the website, for billing and payments and things like that. And if you can pull those things off the shelf, especially in the beginning, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because then you can focus on those decisions to bring manufacturing in house and all of the time and effort I'm sure that took to
takes. It's an ongoing process. Yeah,
right.
It's not without its own issues, right? But they're just problems we have decided to solve.
Mm-hmm. And now we've, pretty much solved that. So now we're moving on to digital and redoing the website and redoing our packaging and things, So one major change at a time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So gotta ask this, just given the timeliness of it, but going back a year, everybody started going online to buy things because of the pandemic. What did that do to you guys? Did you see a sudden influx of people who weren't able to go down to CVS anymore and buy those types of things? And then what did you guys do as a result of that? Did you change anything? Did you pivot in any way?
Oh, it was great and terrible at the same time. For like 2 months in there, we were panicking.
We did well. We doubled our revenue a couple months, which was phenomenal. But it was also, we do manufacture, so we still have to deal with our team and making sure we're keeping them safe. And they're dealing with the same kind of uncertainty that everybody else had, but we were still able to operate because we were a personal care brand. So if you're personal care, you're technically still you're considered essential, because we make things like shampoos and things like that clean your body, and plenty of frontline workers need shampoo as well because they have to clean their hair after their shifts, and other people as well. And so we did that for about 2 months, and sales kind of were up all throughout the year, I would say. I do think the election had an effect on things as well. I feel like anytime things get super political, there's a huge effect on e-commerce because we're fighting for eyeballs. What else? The pandemic.
Supply chain was right. The big issue. And from March to June, it was really touch and go. I remember going around to my friends, do you have 50 bottles? I just need 50 bottles. The orders are already in. We made the product. We just ran out of bottles. And then we were trying to get stuff in and out of China. Our suppliers had issues because their online orders jumped up, the same as our online orders might have jumped up.
And they jumped from maybe 200 a day they were getting to 2,000. And they had 20,000 in the queue, and they're like, you're not going to get your stuff for 60 days. And they usually they can deliver overnight. So you go from somebody who can deliver overnight to saying, yeah, we're about 2 months out. And everyone saying that is kind of and then you have the highest sales you've ever had, but literally no inventory. It was insane. So, yeah.
And so, and then, commerce, shipping out of China stopped. A lot of our suppliers do go through there, particularly for packaging. And so we really did have to scramble for a little while, but we were able to, we had a few delays, not going to lie. We had a few delays, but we were upfront and honest with our customers. Hey, the world is in shambles right now. It'll take a little bit longer to get your stuff, but we will get it to you. We luckily didn't have a lot of cancellations. Most people understood that we were in one of these black swan type events. And then on top of that, we had to change the way we think about manufacturing, right? And that's kind of a global issue. Most people do just-in-time manufacturing. Mm-hmm. That's why, a shock to your supply chain shuts everything down.
Right.
And so we decided, let's invest a little bit more in our supply chain. Okay, we only have one supplier for this ingredient. No, we need 3 suppliers for every ingredient, so that nothing stops the show. Okay, we typically only keep maybe a month worth of stock. Maybe we need to keep 3. Some essential ingredients, maybe we need to keep 6. Can we afford to house that inventory, hold on to it? That changes the accounting, all those different things that go into it. Because we make our own products, we have to have a very robust supply chain. And that, last year really helped us realize we didn't. And so we had to make it. And so we were solving that problem as we were going.
Yeah. Have things, would you say, normalized from a supply chain perspective?
Maybe just now.
Yeah.
Right?
I would think so.
Like just now. Because in addition to that year, now we're kind of dealing with employee shortages like a lot of people. There's more work to do and less people to do it. And so we kind of have to change the way we run our operations so that we can get more people in, hire more folks, and then structure them in such a way that they're safe when they come to the job. We do benefit from having a very clean environment to begin with. So we didn't have any COVID outbreaks or anything like that at our facility. And it's a shared space with a bunch of other businesses. But because, we already were wearing gloves and hairnets and masks and things like that from time to time, we didn't have a huge transition in order to keep people safe. And that was one of the biggest wins for me, was that we were able to keep our people safe and happy during the pandemic, even though it was like a crunch for just about everyone.
Yeah. So everybody's dealing with the employee shortage pretty much in every industry right now. Sounds like you guys have been able to hold on to some loyal employees throughout, but how are you enticing new people into the business?
We're having to increase wages not
a whole lot, because not to toot our own horn. We consider ourselves like responsible employers, right? We believe in people having a living wage. So our starting salary, entry-level positions, all start at $17 an hour with full benefits from day one and a 401k.
Wow.
So dental, vision, healthcare, 401k, all that from day one. And so we did have a little bit of turnover, not a lot, but a little bit of turnover during the pandemic, because there's just so many things going on. People have unique situations. But like Kim said, we did have to change that offer up a little bit.
Yeah, so we're changing from $17 to $19 an hour. Mm-hmm. And that was the biggest change that we made. But then also just telling people how much we appreciate them. I don't know if people get to, know that and feel that. And so it helps to hear it. And we wanted to do that more too.
And really around what's next for you guys. I mean, we were chatting a little bit before we started recording here, and you guys are out raising another series of funding. So what are you going to do with that? Like, what's next for CurlMix?
So I mentioned we wanted to be more like a Procter & Gamble, and we just raised a $5 million equity crowdfund from our customers. So we let them own and buy shares in the company, and we're closing that within the next week. And we allowed our customers to do that in the last 2 months. And we're going to use that money to launch other brands and truly build out the Procter & Gamble market. The Procter & Gamble model, but for direct-to-consumer. So Procter & Gamble is focused on brick and mortar, retail, and mass distribution in that way. And what we want to do is kind of prove our concepts online, own the customer relationship, and maybe somewhere down the line we do retail in 5-10 years. But right now we want to focus on direct to consumer.
Gotcha. Is that all going to stay within the CurlMix brand, or you're looking to create other sub-brands?
So it's called Listener Brands. Listener Brands is the name of our conglomerate, and CurlMix is one of the companies in that conglomerate. We also own 4C Only, and we'll be launching other brands over the years.
Gotcha. Okay. Any thought on bundling some of those things together into yet another brand? I mean, that's very popular these days, especially in digital streaming is a space that we're in. And, we all went from, our cable company providing us 100 channels and 90 of them we didn't watch. Now then towards everybody wanted to launch their own streaming service, right? So we have all these individual ones, now back towards, hey, we're starting to bundle them together. So is that something you guys are looking at?
Oh, that's funny. I didn't think about it that way. Not right now, mostly because we have to speak to a certain person. I think media is a bit different because you can kind of find your niche within the platform. Whereas CurlMix, we have to get really, really big for people to have to find their collection within our portfolio. And so each brand speaks to a specific customer. So I don't think that we be combining them unless we bought somebody else or something. I don't see that right now, though.
Yeah, that's the key to internet marketing, is being specific to that person, right? Customizing the language, the experience, the product to solving their specific problems. And the better you can do that, the more success you'll have online. Like people don't have time to like shop around in a general store. Websites get 3-5 second views at most. And so you have to be able to speak to those customers quickly, and they have to get it and understand that like you're the product or service for them. And that's what we try to do. And so will we have bundles? I don't know, but we might have to have 7 or 8 brands before we start bundling together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a good point there, Tim. I think personalization has almost become table stakes now, right? I mean, if you want to succeed on the internet, there's millions of choices, and unless yours can stand out in some way and solve a very specific problem, you're probably going to get lost in the sauce or lost in the sea of all of the others that are out there. I read an article recently about even hyper-personalization and taking that even down another level. And so there's a lot of different places we can go with this, but it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Absolutely.
Well, guys, it's been fun talking with you guys, and thanks for being so open and sharing so much about your business and your journey and what's going on over there. If any of the listeners have questions for you guys or are interested, maybe have some follow-up questions on anything, how can they get a hold of you? And tell us, of course, the website, too, if they want to check out the product.
If you guys want to check out the product, you can go to CurlMix.com. And if you want to chit-chat with me and Tim, you can go to KimandTimLewis.com. Same thing, Kim and Tim Lewis on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks again. Really enjoyed it. Congrats on all the success and best of luck in the future with your new round of funding and all of the new products that are going to be coming out. It'll be interesting to watch.
Thank you so much, Nick. This was so much fun.
Yes, we had a great time.
Have a good day.